Henry asked you to do this play, what did you think?
I was really honored to be invited to work on this project. This particular topic, the element of trafficking and also the element of victims of assault, have been very strong in my awareness recently. My husband recently scored a film on the topic of child sex trafficking, and I've been working on a play that is a story of someone who's been the victim of assault. And so I felt that it was a topic that I had been around and I had been thinking about, and as a result I felt like the choreography just came out of me more quickly.
And can you tell me your inspirations for the movements with the character? Can you explain a little bit of what it was that you came up with as an artist to illustrate what it was that you felt about this person after you heard about it?
I saw her life in chapters. I saw the chapter of being imprisoned, working as a seamstress from early morning until night, and that just felt like a very kind of just tightly contained situation, and yet I know that people who survive these situations have such incredible strength internally, and that strength grows as they just are determined to make it day to day. So the first section, she's contained to her stool, and she is dealing with the fact that she has like these bars around her, but yet she finds the strength within to just do her work with dignity. And that was the inspiration for the first section. The next section, actually I decided to choreograph later, because that section where it's talking about her life with this man who had assaulted her, that was just, to me, such a more complexly difficult chapter. So I went on to work on the chapter of love, and I was inspired with the concept of like, this was like a blessing for her at that point in her life. It was coming down from above. And I tried to incorporate little motif from Thai dance with the hands starting in like the shape of a flower and coming around and going into her heart. And just that this love she was experiencing was so big, and just drawing it into her. You know, it's like somebody who hasn't had a drink of water in a long time, and just experiencing that love and filling herself with it was what I wanted to really bring out in that particular section. And the last section of dealing with the disease and then her passing and sweeping through the space was really the kind of shock and the segmentation of what to do next, and just, you know, the unexpectedness of it was part of the movement inspiration. But yet she obviously inspired a lot of people, and her story, I'm sure, gives many people strength to overcome and continue and persevere and try to find what's best in every day and what's best in their life in the years ahead. So I wanted her to sweep through the space with that sense of freedom that she found in her life with this man, and that she must feel whoever she is now, and that connects her then to the narrator, and they exit the space together. And then in the section with this man who assaulted her and her time with him, I really wanted it to have a sense of being in prison, but yet she had more possibility to move. So I worked with the motif from the prison section with the arms, but in a different way, to try to convey the struggle that she had. And she was moving in a larger pathway through the space, but yet she was still in some ways behind bars. So I brought that motif back into that section. Then we just, you know, used some pantomime just to kind of connect her to the narrator or the other side of Boonsam. It's kind of like one person is narrating the story, who is Boonsam, and then the dancer is conveying more of the emotional tone of the story. So as the story evolves, she's contained in the stool, and then gradually she gets more space in her life, and at the very end she's sweeping freely through the space and leaving. So that was my kind of evolution of the movement.
And is there any part of this whole entire play that you identify with the most?
that I personally identify with the most? Oh, I think probably the love section. You know, I'm very fortunate that I have work that I do that I love very, very much. I have the chance to work on creative projects. I just have many wonderful blessings in my life that fulfill me, and I've worked very hard to get there and to create my situation where I am and what I do. But I don't take it for granted. I'm grateful every day, and I know that, you know, on any given day, things can change. A very dear friend of mine from ballet class she has 3 children, and she just lost her husband to brain cancer. And it just seemed to come out of nowhere. And so I know that for any one of us, things can change in just a moment's notice. And for these young women who are, I assume they're the ones in this poster, you know, they had a situation where they were experiencing a difficult life change that was sudden at a very young age. And, you know, they had to find that inner strength to overcome it much younger than they should have. I mean, nobody ever should have to deal with it, but they